on deconstructing Amazon 2. And basically, for those of you guys that missed part 1, I know a lot of people were super excited about what we shared on there. But I got to tell you, Josh, I'm even 4 or 5 times as excited over the stuff that we have for today. I mean, really, it's going to start making a lot of sense to some people. A lot of people are going to figure out why some people are ranking at the top of the search engines, but nobody else really talks about. And I know we're going to deconstruct, talk briefly again about canonicals, show some live examples, and then you're going to jump into two things I think you said, right? What are you going to talk about today, Josh, just to get everybody excited about it?
Yeah, so I'm super excited. There's a whole bunch of good stuff. I'm going to be talking about specifically what I kind of call the ninja search. It's how to do search now, to search for your rankings in Amazon, to get past all of the new updates, all of the IP cookies, all that stuff, and also super URLs.
Fantastic. So I'm excited to see the ninja search because as I'm going to talk about here early on in the presentation, a lot of things are changing and we're about to see exactly what they are and how they're causing problems, especially if you are considering yourself an Amazon SEO. It's going to cause more and more problems for you now and in the future. So let's jump right in there. Again, we're in the OMG way, and I see people are firing up. Check out Jim here. Jim's posted his picture. He's ready to rock and roll. He's ready for the rodeo. I know Jim is all set. He's excited. I see Eric Hanna in here. He's pumped. Shirley, hi Shirley. Rob is in here. Casanova. Everyone's excited. Everybody's ready. I've got both OMG Way Up as well as the questions that are popping up in GoToWebinar. So if you do ask them in GoToWebinar, I do check that occasionally, and I will make sure that you have your questions answered by the end of the webinar. But again, super exciting stuff. So let's just jump right straight in. As I said before, this one is definitely, I'll tell you this much, guys. I'm pretty certain that this webinar on any other place would literally cost you at least $300 to $500. I've seen similar webinars other places sold for the same amount, but I'm telling you, I'm about to show you guys literally some amazing stuff that you should, like, you would literally want to pay for this stuff. So get your seatbelts fastened, get ready. We're about to get the party started. As I said before, Josh has got some amazing stuff. I've got some amazing stuff. You guys should definitely be excited. So let's jump straight in to what we've got going on today. So again, what we're talking about today is deconstructing Amazon. It's basically nothing other than Amazon SEO and what it all involves. What are all these confusing terms? What's BSR? What's canonical? What's a super URL? What's all this crap mean? And let's just jump straight in. Quick housekeeping though. Namely, if you guys have any questions, make sure you tag me in the groups and I will be sure to answer those questions. Don't PM me. I hardly ever answer them. Some people found out that it takes me sometimes 2 to 3 weeks to answer those. I eventually get to them, but it's going to take me a while. Whereas if you tag me, you'll probably have an answer within 12 to 24 hours at the latest. Now, we're still focusing on sourcing because, as I said before, sourcing is the lifeblood of the business. So if you have not already done so, make sure you're still selecting and adding products to your list, because next week we've got another fantastic webinar. In fact, next week I'm going to have my sourcing agent live from China. He's going to be on the call, and he's going to be talking about a couple things. First and foremost, how you can use Alibaba today to source products, but he's also going to present you guys with an opportunity. You see, he's now expanded the size of his office, so he's able to take on new clients at this time. So I'm going to give you guys all his information so that you have that, and you can, once again, contact him and use the same guy that I'm using. And basically, what I have to say about this guy is I've had about 4 agents prior to him, and they've all been a train wreck or a pain in the ass to work with. But this guy, he's pretty amazing. Not only is he coming back with quality products, but he's also coming back with really, really competitive prices. It's been very rare that he doesn't get me a better price than anyone else that I've ever used. So he comes back with a better price 95% of the time. And not only is it a better price, but it's a quality product. And best of all, if you're not using a third-party warehouse to ship your products to, he also can ship to Amazon. So we're starting to do that with him. We're done with the testing out phase. He works pretty good. We've had multiple transactions with him, and they've all gone fantastic. And now this is the guy that we're basically using for 90% of our sourcing. The other 10% is basically tied down to products that we have special molds on that we cannot take away from our former agents. So 90% of the time, we are giving our business to this guy. And he will be on next week live with Mandy Payne talking about how to source products from China. So you don't want to miss that. But today, we continue our talk about the most important lesson I've learned in the past 2 years. And simply, we'll quickly recap what we went over in the last webinar. How do we treat Amazon like a search engine? We need to get into the habit of treating Amazon like what it actually is, which is a search engine. And what we went over the last time was the fact that it is a search engine, and just like Google, sites are indexed. Keywords are indexed within the Amazon search engine. It's actually a lot simpler to get keywords indexed in Amazon. In fact, we demonstrated this live last week. We went over all that and showed people how, with a few simple changes, we were able to completely rank the Donald Trump toilet paper for things like Obama toilet paper and Hillary Clinton toilet paper. And now, if you want to see a recap of that, I encourage you guys to watch a replay of last week where I showed you exactly how to find out if a word is indexed in the Amazon search engine. So you will not want to miss that. If you haven't seen it already, I highly recommend it. So last time, the things we covered were basic indexing, and then we took a deeper dive into that indexing. We talked about how to gather how much competition there is for particular keywords. We also briefly talked about the canonical, but we didn't have any slides, so I made a couple slides for you guys so you could take some notes and have them on the replay. And we briefly mentioned the super URL. Well, good news is today Josh is going to cover the super URL in detail, and he has a bonus lesson for you guys, how to check your listings in a ninja way, which, as you'll see in a minute, you're going to need to learn how to do that because it's become increasingly difficult to figure out the true position of your actual Amazon products, but we'll cover that in great detail. And last thing we covered was a huge myth, which again, after the recording is done here, we will cover that again. And again, today, be prepared to literally have your mind blown. Cotton likes to say hashtag mind blown. In fact, I'll probably ask for that hashtag here in a second to make sure you guys are excited about what we're about to share. But today, what we're going to jump into, first and foremost, we're going to talk about the canonical slides. In fact, these are actually not in any particular order. We're going to jump around all day long through these. A super URL, as Josh mentioned. The BSR, what does the BSR mean? Factors that affect rank. This is possibly one of the most asked for sections, and I've got tons of data on this, guys. I know exactly what affects rank, and I think you guys are going to be very surprised at what my findings have shown. And then lastly, we're going to tackle that huge myth. So be prepared to actually learn quite a bit. So I am going to jump into the Facebook group, and I rarely do actual hashtags, but I'm going to go ahead and I had a good talk with Cotton today, and we talked a lot about some things coming up in the future. And again, I was hashtag mindblown, so I want people to go ahead and, this is like a salute to Cotton. I want to hashtag mindblown in the OMG way. If you guys are really fired up over what I'm about to show you, I can tell you this much, guys. I don't think any single person in the world is going to have the kind of data that I have right now. I've tested hundreds and hundreds of products, looked at thousands and thousands of listings, and I've done just about everything that you can imagine. For some of those of you that were on last time's webinar, at the after hours, you'll recall the type of traffics that I told you I've tested. If you guys are ready to hear exactly what I've done and what I've found out about the Amazon search engine, give me a hashtag mindblown if you're ready to be amazed and also stunned. I really don't know what other words I can tell you for it, but after you see today, you're going to realize that there's really, honestly, guys, there's hardly any people in the world that know this information that I'm about to share with you. It's going to give you a massive, massive advantage that you can use not only in your agency, but in your own, with your own Amazon products. And I see Jim is fired up. He's ready for the rodeo, I'm telling you. Jim is ready to rock and roll. He's posted pictures. I see a lot of people hashtag mindblown. Josh, what do you think? You think we've gotten enough hashtag mindblowns to go on? I know you're a big hashtagger.
Yeah, and I've actually got a bunch of hashtags planned for today. I mean, I think almost everybody's already, commented hashtag mindblown, and they should, because you're 100% right. This is such an exciting webinar. I'm so excited right now.
Right, and I really wanted to upplay the webinar a little bit, but I said, I'm gonna reward the the guys that are here day in, day out, that are week in, week out. I'm going to reward those guys, and I'm going to downplay the webinar, but I'll tell you what, today's webinar could be the best webinar that you'll hear all year round. That's how good it is. That's the stuff that I'm about to show you guys. It could be the best one ever. So be prepared to really kind of like, I'm telling you guys, I'm dropping bombs today. I'm not screwing around. You guys are going to be amazed here. So let's just jump in there, because as I said before, I got like 50 slides on this. All right, so let's go ahead and see what else we've got here. So again, we're going to talk about the things that I already mentioned because I'm fired up about this. So here we go. Now, what the name of the Amazon search engine is called A9. And in fact, what you guys might be surprised to know is that Google has actually publicly stated that the Amazon A9 search engine is actually their #1 competition. And recently, in fact, the Wall Street Journal backed this up. The Wall Street Journal said that not only is Amazon Google's primary competition, but Pinterest is also looking to threaten and shake up the search ad market, which again is dominated by Google. So Google is very aware that Amazon is on its coattails and that Amazon is really putting the pressure on, and at some point they could potentially overtake Google. So that's something that's kind of like really exciting to know. But the most exciting thing to know is that I'm about to show you how the Amazon search engine is very much the same, very alike, just like the Google search engine, and it can also be manipulated. And that's kind of what we show, and we specialize here inside of OMG. So Amazon search engine today, really what it's doing again, it's mimicking Google. So the Google that you've seen in the past is sort of the changes that Amazon is making. And for some of you guys that are actually seasoned SEOs, you'll perfectly understand what I'm talking about here as I get into this. And again, I'm not much of an SEO person, but I pay attention to the posts that Cotton makes, that Ortiz makes, that all those guys make, Joe and Fletch. I see exactly what they're saying, and I sort of pay attention to this on the Amazon side. So first and foremost, Amazon is doing a lot of what I like to call it's kind of like a pseudo-personalized search. In fact, what it basically will do is it will give different results to different people based on their IP address. So if I've searched, for example, probiotics, and I've looked at the probiotics market several times, and in fact, sometimes I've looked at certain probiotics, it would be displayed to me much higher than what you will search for if you will find if you search for probiotics. So when you search probiotics, you might get completely different results in the terms of they'll be very minor, but the top listings will usually stay the same, but they'll be jumbled around. So I might typically see a product that I've looked at before, instead of where it normally is, which could be position 12, it'll be in position 8. And for you, it will be in position 12. So that's kind of what I mean by personalized search. They're doing this more and more. The algorithm also takes into consideration user intent. And what I mean by user intent is I'm going to explain that a little bit more thoroughly here in a minute. But what I mean by that is if you jump on a particular listing and you scroll around there, you start looking at reviews, you start showing a potential intent to purchase a product, the search algorithm is aware of that, and therefore it's almost like they award the product with points for the particular keyword that you landed there with. So we'll show some examples here in a minute. The other thing that it started to do is block IPs from seeing certain listings. Now, I noticed this about 4 months ago and about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Actually, Josh noticed this too because our AMZ tracker was broken. So we started to see the signs of this happening way before it actually happened. And about a month before anyone else started to post this publicly, we noticed that we were being blocked on our particular IDs for our particular products, and we could not see them. So it almost nearly scared me half to death. Early one morning, I literally nearly had a shit attack, guys, because I saw that some of my products were missing, and I thought to myself, oh my God, I probably got banned or suspended. No surprises, Amazon is commonly doing this nowadays. So literally almost had a heart attack, and then came to the realization that they were starting to block my IPs for particular products. So this is something that they're doing very much so today. And then the last thing is that they're requiring more captchas to be solved. So if you're looking at something even through a private browser, more and more you'll get a CAPTCHA if you start jumping within the search engine and typing too many search terms and search queries, and they will block you, or they'll put a CAPTCHA on your, pop it up so they make sure that you're not a robot. But this is the kind of things that they're doing nowadays to block people from doing too many searches. And as I said before, they're creating more personalized type search for the user and mimicking Google. So this is the kind of stuff that they're actually doing. Josh, is there anything you wanted to add? Did I miss anything here that you've seen?
No, I think you're 100% correct. I'm just curious if everyone knows what a CAPTCHA is, though. Only concern.
Let's double check. Josh, you want to clarify what a CAPTCHA is for the people on here?
Yeah, a CAPTCHA is basically just a quick security measure that a lot of websites have to confirm that somebody is a real person. And so you'll notice if you try to use a lot of Google services, this happens to me a lot, I'll get a CAPTCHA that says, okay, like if you're setting up for a Gmail account, click here to confirm you're not a robot, and then it'll have you match all the pictures with a tree in them. And you have to pick those to confirm you are a human. That's basically all it is.
Right, cool. So very good good job describing that, Josh. Let's see, I think we got CAPTCHAs, a couple questions. You were spot on. IP is just for those of you guys that do not know. It's just your IP address. So if you go to the site, what is my IP? It will tell you what your IP address is. So Amazon knows what your IP address is. Each individual user, you have it with your actual internet service provider, and you'll be given an IP address. And so Amazon knows who you are and where you're at, even what browser you're using, all that data. So, all right, let's talk about the canonical real quick. Josh covered this, but a lot of people had some questions. The canonical is simply the actual Amazon URL. It's what I mean by actual is it's not the one that typically pops up. I'll show you here in a minute what I mean by the actual, but it's the one that like everybody uses for promotions, or the one that everybody should be using most of the time. And it typically looks like this: http amazon.com hyphen whatever the keywords are from the title, and then this DP and then the ASIN. And here's an example of that Fox Sake mug we looked at. It says amazon.com. The keywords O for Fox Sake white mug /DP /the ASIN. So to find it, we went over this briefly last time, but I'll show you guys again. And Josh, make sure I'm right. I know I'm right on the Mac. It's right-click Inspect or right-click View Source, Command F, and I'll show that in a second. But on PC, is this right? View Source, Control F, Canonical.
Yeah, you can also just press on the listing page, Control U, and that's an automatic view source.
Okay, so it's Control U. So let me show you guys what it is for, let's look at foot massager. And just jump on any one of these here. We'll jump on the number 1. On Mac, I'm going to right-click here and hit View Page Source. And once it takes me here, I'm going to hit Command F, and I can just look for Canonical. And there is the Canonical right here. So this is Amazon.com, TheraFlow /dual /massager roller large DP ASIN. And as Josh said, on the PC, it's Control U. So Control U on the PC. So really quick, that's what the Canonical is. Why is it useful? Let's talk about why it's useful. It's very simple. It's useful because it matters from a Google SEO perspective is the main thing. And so basically, when you have a canonical that's related to your keywords and it has the keywords in your title that you want to rank for, it makes it much easier to rank within Google. You'll literally rank quite easily. In fact, the canonical is really the #1 factor when ranking within the Google search engine. It's very similar to the title tag when you're looking at it from a Google SEO perspective. So once you have that canonical right and start sending some backlinks, it should be fairly easy to rank for them, especially when you send them from press releases, which we'll see in the future of Press Release the Kraken, which will probably do Press Release the Kraken 1 again and then go with Part 2, probably even back-to-back, because a lot of the new people have not seen Part 1. So let's jump onto Amazon and actually look at some canonicals. It's just as simple as I kind of just showed. Any page you jump on, it doesn't really matter. Like we could jump on this foot massager and just right-click View Page Source and Command F, and then again we're searching for the word canonical. And right there, I cannot even spell. But there's the canonical right there. Same actual format that we talked about before. It's super simple, so I'm not going to spend any more time on that. You guys should now know how to find that actual canonical. If we have any more questions, I'll answer them here in a second. But since I've got so many slides to cover, let's go ahead and continue to go on. Okay, so we're going to talk now about one of the exciting parts of this webinar for me is how do we hack this canonical? And what I mean by that is if the words showing between these parentheses are so important from a ranking perspective, how do we get those words exactly the way we want them? So I have a couple of actual examples here. I've got the Donald Trump toilet paper from last time. I've also got this straightening detangler. I guess it's a brush. And then this portable electric straightening brush. What I'm going to show you is how these, if you guys actually see anything, I'll jump over and show you what they actually have. Let me first do this other part first. I got these actual backwards. So this is the last one that I'm going to show you in a minute. But let me talk about the canonical and how we hack it. So first and most important rule of hacking the canonical. The words placed in the first 60 characters are the most important from an SEO perspective. And now I know a lot of people are going to say, are we supposed to put our brand name? We technically are, according to the rules of Amazon, but I see plenty of people that aren't doing it, and there's a reason they're not doing it. And that's because those first 60 characters are the most valuable real estate that you have on all of your actual listing. So anything that you put in those first 60 characters, you can almost guarantee is part of your actual canonical if you put them in the right order, which I'm about to show you. So I prefer not to ever have my brand name at the front, but after a certain point and after you sell so much, Amazon will force you to actually put that at the front of your actual listing. Now, Josh, I know you have experience with this. You've seen it on some of the listings you've worked with. Anything else that I have to add about Amazon forcing your brand name at some point?
I mean, just that it really sucks. I mean, it's going to happen if you make enough sales, and it will change your canonical. But just touching on last time, a lot of that juice from the old canonical will be passed over, not 100%, but you won't completely drop off of other search engines like Google and Yahoo.
Right, so like I said, Josh just said it sucked. I've had my canonical change on my bestseller, and it did suck because now it forces my brand name in the front, and I kind of don't really want that. But once they change it themselves, there's really like no way to change it back. They want that brand name there, and you're kind of basically SOL. So let's talk about how to make sure we get the canonical we want. This is exactly how we're going to do it. So to make sure that Amazon understands that these characters are the most important part from an SEO's perspective, make sure after you're done with the 60 characters or after you're done with your most important keywords, you place either a hyphen, a comma, a semicolon, a dash, and or a pipe, or the word by. And the reason the word by is in here is because the by acts like any one of these. And what it basically does is the word by acts as one of these. And you could put like, I'm trying to think of a word, case, iPhone 7 case by Dasani cases, whatever case it could be. Whatever case you want it to call it, but that word by acts as one of these. So I'm going to show you guys some examples so it makes some sense here in a minute. But the other thing is that numbers or parentheses are never added to the actual equation. And what I mean by that is sometimes you'll get a listing that says USB 24 gigabytes. And the 24 will never be placed in the canonical. Or if it says USB for PC and parenthesis Mac, the parenthesis Mac will never show up either. So let me show you guys, jump into some of these other ones that we were talking about and show you exactly what it means. So let's grab a couple of these URLs. Let's first look at the Donald Trump toilet paper. So here's the Donald Trump toilet paper, and if we notice, this has a dash right here. And the canonical up here says Donald Trump toilet paper roll. I mean, it's word for word. You can't get a better canonical than that if your keyword is Donald Trump toilet paper. So it literally took it word for word. What you'll see here in a minute is it won't take into consideration numbers as well as like minor words like to, and, from, ampersand, things like that. So let's take a look at another one so you can see how the canonical was hacked in this case. In this case, we have got the comma. So on this one, we've got, notice it leaves out hair, and I think it's because it's in the hair niche, but it's straightener, Magitech, straightening detent, and I think this was an example showing that the comma doesn't work. So maybe I got it a little bit backwards, but I think I might have grabbed the wrong one. So maybe it's the comma doesn't work, but I'll clarify that for you guys after I search for a few more. Let me grab this other one here. So ignore that one, and I will have to look into that comma again. Maybe I just added it as I was making these and didn't get enough examples. Okay, on this one, I put this in here to show you that it doesn't mention the 3.0 in here at all. So it's Acivea, whatever, portable electric straightening brush. For some reason, again, hair is left out. So let's jump in there and double check hair on some of these other ones. So let's see, hair straightening brush. Let's grab a random one. This one looks fine. This one also has a comma, so this is a good one example that we'll get to see. And again, this one doesn't have any of the words, so it looks like I made a mistake and the comma shouldn't be in there. Let's jump into another one. This one has no punctuation at all or anything like that. So this one, again, it's micro pure straightener, resistant, and see how it's kind of all over the place. So let's see if we can find one that actually has a hyphen that we see early on. Here's one with a hyphen. This one's only going to have hair buff, and then the rest of the words are going to be all random. This one has a comma, so this one will probably be random again. Let's take a look at this one. This one says straightening you spicy. So yeah, that just goes to show that the comma doesn't mean anything. So I'll take it out of those slides so you can take that away, but I'm trying to look for one with a actual hyphen. This one has a parenthesis, which is not going to work as per what I said. Okay, here we go. Perfect. This one should show Gideon heated hair brush straightener, and there it is. This one did show up with hair for some reason, but all the words before the hyphen are the most important words. It doesn't skip around like the rest of the guys. Now, let's see if I can find one more. Here's the rose gold with the parentheses, so this one should be interesting because it has a parenthesis. But this one says hair straightener brush. Again, it didn't grab the A4 because the A's got a 4. And it actually took the rose gold here, so it could be because it's just text. But I've not seen it take ones with numbers. This one's kind of strange because I've never looked at one with these, it just ignored the one with these brackets altogether. So let me see if I can find one more, and then we'll jump back into the other example. And really, you can play with the canonical when you first, this will be interesting with this trademark logo, what happens on this one. So this one took the trademark as part of the actual word. So it's Kaylee TM, heated hair straightening brush, and there again is the actual dash that got this all to say that. So see, sometimes they throw in a couple interesting things, the trademark, the brackets that I've never really looked at. So let's look at the last one that we have here and see what I found on this one. It's another straightening brush. So on this one had the comma again. So this one I wanted to point out the comma again. And I just, for some reason, I added the comma, and I'm not sure why. I was probably just in a hurry. So this one says straightener, Magitech straightening detangling. It grabbed them all randomly without the comma. So really, this is really, you can search here hours and hours, and you're going to see that one thing that remains the same is anything with the dashes or the actual, let me jump back to that slide and redo this. think I was right here. So anything in the comma is out of the question. So let's just take out the comma. So anything with the rest of these is going to come up more than likely in the order it is. So numbers or parentheses are never added. And again, parentheses, I just saw them added with words. But also this one didn't work either. This completely threw out, it threw it out. It pretended like it wasn't there. And then the trademark also works. So the trademark literally came out up here as trademark. So again, what I encourage you guys is to go out there and start looking at this, and you'll see, just as I'm telling you here, that it's actually it happens everywhere. Let's take a look at Garcinia cambogia one more time just to show this, and then we'll continue to move on. So I saw this a lot in Garcinia cambogia earlier. Here's an interesting one with these, whatever they are, they're like little star. On this one, which is rank number 1, as Garcinia cambogia, and then these trigger almost like a hyphen. So as you can see here, that almost triggered the hyphen rule. What else do we have? Here's this one. So this one should say pure Garcinia cambogia extract and something at the end. Pure Garcinia cambogia extract, and then they threw in suppressant. Let's see. This one's interesting too. This one should ignore the 95%. So this one says Garcinia, and yet it ignored it altogether. So this one's kind of all over the place because of that. I've never actually looked at one with a period. But let's see if we can find maybe one more that's interesting. This 100% will ignore the 100% altogether. This one's kind of interesting too because they have two of these, like these probably trigger right away. So this one is strength Garcinia. Yeah, so it jumps around. So as you guys can see, you could literally, if you have a particular canonical in mind, you can, like this one's going to just say pure Garcinia. This one's a great one. It'll probably say purest Garcinia cambogia extract and then highest or something like that. So purest Garcinia cambogia extract, and this one has the numbers. This is the first time I've actually ever seen numbers, so that's completely interesting. I've never seen them before. But it could also be because it's almost tricking Amazon to thinking this is a full word, when typically the number would be separated from the HCA. So I think that's what this one is showing here. So hopefully you guys are starting to get the hang of this. Is there anybody out there, everybody understands? You can get Garcinia cambogia. Any questions with this so far? I have not, James. That video should be out probably tomorrow. Kristen says she's been getting a CAPTCHA. So yeah, what is CAPTCHA? We answered that. You can, I would not get Garcinia cambogia. I can't even pronounce it anymore. I would not get it in China ever. It's like probably the easiest way to get banned. The Sorcerer Sheet, there has been several links, gentlemen. They're all over the place. I would suggest nobody links it in the OMG way. Yeah, Daniel, that should also be coming out tomorrow. We are filming for the first time tomorrow. Recording from the last session, it should be in your members area. Press release Kraken 1 should be out soon within the next 4 weeks or so. Canonical is automatically created by Amazon themselves. So Amazon will generate the canonical for you based off of how your title's actually crafted. So these tips that I'm giving you today are a good way. Like this one should say Homedics FB dash, and should not have a 600 on this one. So this one says Homedics, and it doesn't have the FB. They skipped the FB probably because it's connected to this. But there is no 600 on here. Let's see what else we got. What tool are you using that is giving the ranking info? If you haven't seen the video, Anna, on YouTube, go to my YouTube channel and check out this video. It's right at the top. It's if you go to my YouTube channel, it should be under Hurricane Liz. It's this one right here, 3 best tools for selling on Amazon. Hurricane Liz this will show you exactly what I'm using. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump back in here. So I think I got just about everybody. Can you look at competitor canonicals? Absolutely, but chances are they're not actually doing them right. You could just look at your top competitors and see what keywords they are targeting. So we'll get more into detail how you go about and do that. So, all right, let's go ahead and jump into the next part of the presentation. Okay, so what does it matter within a ranking perspective inside of Amazon? Really, from what we've seen so far, the canonical really doesn't make a difference whatsoever when you want to rank within Amazon. Like, it'll only make a difference when you want to rank within Google. So we're going to talk about what matters in Amazon here in a second. But before we go into that, we got one more section, and then Josh will get on and talk about super URLs. But we're going to talk about BSR. So I actually did a little test today to show you guys exactly what BSR is, because there's a lot of confusion as to what BSR is. How is it actually calculated? Is it the sales history of a particular product? Is it how quickly a product will sell? So a lot of people buy products thinking, oh, wow, this has such a great BSR, it's going to continue to sell that well. So a quick example here is if a book sells one copy, it'll often move up to 100K. And I'll show you some examples here that I did in a minute so you can see how crazy BSR can be and what BSR is actually measuring. So let's first go ahead and talk about what BSR actually is. So BSR is nothing more than a measure of how long it's been since the last one sold. So it's really just measuring how long ago the last actual product sold. And I'm going to show you guys here some examples in a minute. As a product stops selling, the BSR slowly gets worse until another item is sold. So it slowly goes down, and as soon as it sells, it slowly spikes. It spikes up immediately. So you'll see here in a minute. Two of the tools that I love to use is Keepa. Keepa, again, is in that video on YouTube that I did about how to 3 tools you must have that are free. And the second one that I like to use that you can go to as well is Camel, but I prefer Keepa just because it integrates with my browser and it makes it super simple. So let me show you guys a couple things that I bought this morning. You guys know I love me some Pikachu. I love Pokemon. I bought this thing for my MacBook earlier, which it's a Pikachu and Charmander Pokemon trackpad for an Apple MacBook. So I was super pumped about this. When I bought it this morning at about 7:30, it was ranked 259K. 3 hours later, from that one single sale, it moved up to 15,000. So as you can see, the BSR simply cannot tell you how a product sells over a long run period of time. It'll tell you how quickly it just sold within the last, in this case, 3 hours. I didn't check it 4 hours later, but 3 hours later it was 15,000. And we could probably jump back into Amazon, take a look at Keepa, and look at this a little deeper. So we'll probably do that here in a second. The other one was I bought this Cat Spell Love MacBook vinyl decal sticker. And as you can see, when I bought it, it was 113,000 in electronics. 3 hours later, it was 15,000. So as you can see, it jumped that much. And again, we'll jump into Keepa here in a second and see what we see on this one as well. And then the last one I bought, I'm going to have to show you what Keepa looked like because I bought the last one. So I bought this Pikachu Pokemon MacBook decal. It was ranked 241,000. Didn't even load up the actual section it was in. But immediately, 3 hours later, you can see right here in Keepa, this green line, it went from the 250,000. It jumped all the way from, it looks like, 15,000 again. So it ranked 15,000. This is what Keepa shows. But let's go ahead and jump into, before Josh takes off with super URL, let's look at Keepa for these other listings here and see what we find. So I'm going to pull them up here. And we're going to take a look at these Pokemon here and see what's happening. So the first one is the Pikachu and Charmander Pokemon. Let's look MacBook decal. Okay, so it's this one right here. I'm trying to wait and see what it's now at 28,000, so it's slowly going back up. It's a quick spike, in sales, followed by a slow move up. Let's see what's happening here. If we look at sales rank, right here it went from 250,000 to, we can't even see where this green line is, but you guys should be able to see that there's a green spike down and it ends right here, which I don't know what that's at. It won't give me a point. But if we look at it, or if you go back and look at it in a couple days, we'll see that this is going to look extremely different. In fact, when we look at this other CATS level one, it's going to probably look similar. I don't know if there's been any actual sales since then, because then it will show us a little bit more information. Let's go back to the Amazon homepage. Take a look at CATS, spell love, MacBook or laptop, vinyl, decal. So I believe it was this one. So let's have a look at this one with Keepa. And we just want to see sales rank. And it might not have been this one because it shows, yeah, just 113,000, but the actual line hasn't printed yet. But let's see what this is ranked right now. 31,000. So when I bought it, it went down to 15,000. So we can see here. And now it's back at 31,000. So it's slowly going back up. And probably if we look at this in the next few days, we'll be able to see the spike directly on here. But today, for some reason, it's just not showing. But we'll keep an eye on that. But that's kind of what I wanted to show you guys with those two. And Josh, are you ready to take over with Super URL here? Let's make sure everybody understood what I talked about BSR. Let's see. And then Josh will be getting taken over here. Let's see.
Real quick, Liz, my presentation is kind of laid out with the Ninja search and then the Super URL. So would you like to continue with yours first, or just have me do both?
Yeah, you know, I just had one quick thing to say about the Super URL, and I think you're going to cover it, so I'll go ahead and see what you're going to do. You can go and start with Ninja search, that's fine. It doesn't really matter which way we go. Let me answer a couple of these questions before you start. Let's see what we got. How do we use it to our advantage, Matthew? Well, you can use a canonical to your advantage by crafting it exactly how you want to rank it within Google search. And the other thing is with the BSR, we're going to talk about how you can use it here. We're just getting into the basics of SEO. We've got still the Super URL, the Ninja search that Josh mentioned, a lot of other stuff. So sit tight and you'll see what I'm talking about. Yes, Chris, not surrounding it in dashes, but putting the dash after your most important words in the first 60 characters. Editing your title will automatically get Amazon to change your canonical. Matthew, it usually can take anywhere from 15 minutes to as much as 4 or 5 days. But it definitely, I've seen it on the best-selling product I have where they force change the title. It took a while longer, but it eventually finally fixed it. James, should I try to open an account under my wife? I would sit tight until they give you an answer for yourself. I don't think they're going to give your wife any different answer. Awesome, Casanova. That's awesome. Giveaway, we haven't covered that yet, Dave. James is very funny. The Kraken video from 26, not enough to rank to get along with it. It will be, James. It's definitely going to get you some sales. Is it accurate to count BSR spikes for 1 month period to determine number of sales? Yeah, I would look at them over a span of at least 3 months if they have the data to get a true indication of what the true BSR is. I would sell, the way Amazon's making it right now, David, the question is, do you recommend to sell multiple products under one account, or I have a separate account for each niche? It's getting more and more difficult to open up an Amazon account, so I would recommend one, keep them all one. And I think Kathy asked, does this work for books you publish on Amazon? It's a little different for books, Kathy, but the giveaways and everything's the same. Like books, you have to stick to a certain number of characters in there. And I think it has to lead with the name of the book. Canonical is right just for Google optimization. Correct, Todd. So let me see if we have anything else. I think it's just you, Jesse. How is the audio overall? The audio is good on our end, so it might just be you. Can we use another seller's Canonical if you're selling a lot of the same product we are selling? I don't understand why you would want to use that, Solomon. Where do you source the books at? I like the idea of books. You can source books anywhere. Goodwill, you can source them at garage sales. You can source them wherever they sell used books. Alrighty, Josh, are you ready to take over?
Yeah, 100%. I'm ready.
Awesome. Let's give Josh a screen. So super excited. We get Josh finally with a good connection. So I'm excited to hear this. Let me pass this over to Josh, and then you guys are going to learn about. Let's get a hashtag Josh Do It. If you guys are excited to hear what Josh has to talk to you about a super URL, which again, there's a lot of myths going out there. So Josh is going to cover those, as well as how to conduct a ninja search. And then we'll conclude with the webinar with the best part of all. So let me go ahead and pass it over to Josh.
Sweet.
As soon as I find you. Okay, Josh, it should be going right over to you.
Okay, cool. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I sure can.
Awesome, awesome. All right, so first off, I did just want to clarify a bit of what Liz was talking about with the whole canonical. Let me see if I can scroll down on my screen. Here we go. I want to see the hashtags. So what Liz actually showed us was super, super powerful. And I'm not sure how many of you know that. So if you've been through any of Greg's training, like at all, you would know the two most important factors in Google rankings. And I'm not going to have you put those in the Facebook group because we don't want the OMG way to see that. But he tells us two things. And it's kind of a balance between the two. And it's the title, the H1 tags, and the URL structure. So just a quick example, if I were to go, like Miami SEO, and we look at the top two results, in both of these, we have Miami SEO in the title. There's Cotton right there. And also in the URL. Look at this, Miami SEO. Miami SEO. Now, what Liz showed you was so powerful because nobody else on the planet except us inside of OMG know how to modify the URL. And if the URL is correct, that also means your title is correct. So now you have a huge, huge, huge advantage for ranking in Google with your Amazon listing. So if you're more pumped up now about how exciting this whole canonical hacking is, please give me a hashtag hurricane in the OMG way. I'm giving her one because a lot of testing and data went into that. So give her a hashtag hurricane. All right, now that said, I guess we can get into my presentation a little bit. So we have deconstructing Amazon, and this is kind of what I like to call gaming the algorithm. So let's see what I've got for you. Okay, big question number one, guys. With the Amazon updates and the A9 algorithm Liz was talking about, how can we know where our listing ranks? She told us. It's personalized search essentially in a way, and Amazon is also blocking some IP addresses. So if you go to search for your listing in the Amazon search and you can't find it, well, maybe your IP address is blocked. Or maybe it shows number 7, but it's really number 15. So how can we know unbiased where it ranks? So we've developed this thing called the Ninja Search, which is pretty badass, honestly. So here's what I say: no cookies, no IP, no problem. Now you might ask me, Josh, how can I be on a computer and have no cookies and no IP? Well, I'm going to show you how to do that. Now before we go any further, I need some hashtag freeze in the OMG way because this is a 100% free method, and I'm not going to show you until I see some hashtag freeze. Although I can't actually scroll my Facebook down. So I'm going to look at my phone.
I got to be honest, Josh, you're making me hungry. Hashtag cookies? I wanted a cookie monster in there. Hashtag cookies.
Let's see. Am I getting some hashtag freeze?
Let's have a look. Let's have a look. I think you're getting a lot of hashtags. I'm scrolling down, and I've got to scroll and scroll and scroll. So
awesome.
Pretty good.
I'm all about, you know me, I'm a college kid. I'm all about free. I'm about being cheap. So we've developed this free Ninja search method. All right? So let's get into it. What you need to do this. This is the Ninja search. Number one, you need a smartphone capable of search with mobile cellular data. If you don't have that, I apologize. You actually can't do this. The next thing is you need to disconnect cellular data from your Amazon Seller app, maybe. I'm not 100% sure on this. I'm using the SWAG method, a scientific wild ass guess, because I don't really know, but I'll explain why I think you might need this later on. And also you'll need the Google Chrome app. All right? So Ninja Search Part 1. Why disconnect cellular data from your Amazon Seller app? Maybe. Again, I'm using the SWAG method. It's a wild guess. But here's why I'm guessing that. Number one, again, I'm guessing. So location could be narrowed down or pinpointed. Now, if Amazon can tell where you are in the world, they might know who you are. And here's what I have, what I call the golden rule. And I made this up today, but it makes sense. So I say Amazon will gather and use all data they can within reasonable limits. They're not going to pay millions to know where you are to improve their customers' experiences. So they will find out where you are. They will log your IP address. They will check your cookies and your browser history and your data to find out who you are so they can make sure you're not a seller manipulating the algorithms. That is for their customers' experience. And they will deploy resources and try to pinpoint your location to find out where you are. So this is why I say you need to go to your Amazon Seller app and remove cellular data, because there might be some back way for them to find out exactly where you are in the world, and then they can tell who you are. So I'm going to walk you guys through real quick how to remove cellular data access from your Amazon Seller app. So step number one. This is my phone here. I only have a tutorial here for an iPhone. If you have a Android or something else, I'm sure it kind of transfers over, very similar. I think you have settings. So step one, navigate to your settings. The next step is to find the Amazon Seller app. So I scroll down until I found it. So settings, find your Amazon Seller app if you have one. If you don't have one, kudos. So I found it, and I clicked on it, Amazon Seller. All right, I got this little video for you. It's pretty easy. Go. Do what the smart man tells you.
Turn that shit off.
You gotta turn that shit off, okay? So you'll see here, all I tell you to do is turn that shit off. There's the button, and you flip it over. Cellular data off. Amazon can no longer tell where you're at. All right. Ninja Search Part 2. Now that you've disconnected cellular data access from your Amazon Seller app, we need Chrome. Now, why do we want Chrome? Well, cookies in your browser, if it's Safari, Firefox, Chrome, whatever, let web servers and websites know information about you. Again, remember the golden rule? Amazon will deploy their resources to find out who you are or any data about you to give their customers the best user experience. So, if Amazon knows your name, your email, your passwords, etc., you don't want them to know that. So, what we really want is not just Chrome, but we want Chrome incognito so we can destroy those cookies. We want to get rid of them. No cookies here. That way we can be totally anonymous, or as anonymous as possible, so Amazon can't tell who we are. Again, the motto of this whole Ninja search is no cookies, no IP, no problem. All right. So now another tutorial on how to install and use the Chrome app on your iPhone. Again, if you have an Android, I apologize. It should map over pretty easily. At least I hope it does. So, step 1, go to your App Store. I know in Android that is Google Play Store. Then you want to click the search icon down here on your iPhone. And I'm sure the search bar as well in the Android. And then just search for Google Chrome. And in my case, it was the first option. I'll show you here. Alright, so I just clicked my little download button right here on my Google Chrome app to download it. And it took about 30 seconds to download. And then I just had it on my screen, clicked on it, opened it up, and accepted the terms of service, and conditions, all that jazz. You kind of have to, or otherwise you can't use it. All right, so then I added my account. There's a little process it takes you through. So if you get left behind, I apologize. There will be a replay of this. But just add an account, go through the process, put your Gmail in. If you don't have a Gmail, you're going to have to set one up. That's very important. But then I click Continue. And here's something I wanted to show you. So even in Google Chrome's setup process, they talk about personalized Google services here. And this is personalized search. Listen to this. Google may use your browsing history to personalize search, ads, and other Google services. Now, again, remember what Liz said. The A9 algorithm is Google's top competitor. So they're doing something very similar, where they try to customize your Amazon search to your IP address, to your cookies, to your browser data. So Google admits to it right here. I'm not sure if Amazon actually admits to it, but we know Google does. Alright, so right here, I did not allow Chrome to access my location while using the app. In fact, I would say if you want to, go to your settings in your iPhone or your Android and just completely turn off location services. That way, none of your apps, none of your browsers know where you are in the world. And again, Amazon can't deploy the resources to find out where you are so they can, personalize search for you. All right, these are the last 3 steps. Very easy. So in the top right-hand corner of your Google Chrome browser on your iPhone, you click the top 3 buttons up here for the menu and just click New Incognito tab. And it opens up a incognito window. Now, it's very important that you're not connected to any Wi-Fi because that gives your phone an IP address. And again, no IP, no cookies, no problem. So don't be connected to an IP address. You want to go LTE or 3G, so you're connected to a large network where you can't be pinpointed by any specific IP address. So Wi-Fi off. And then you can go to Amazon.com and do a search. And that's all it is, guys. When you do this and you do a Google Chrome incognito search on a mobile phone with your Wi-Fi turned off, you have no IP address, you have no cookies, and you can search and know exactly where you are ranking in Amazon. And that is the Ninja Search.
I think that's awesome, Josh. I think that's awesome. I think a lot of people don't realize how useful it is because, for example, it's a pain in the ass to really rely on software tools where you have to wait for a delay for them to measure where you're at. And there's some words that you're just doing, like making daily effort to rank keywords, and you need to know where you're at almost like on a daily basis. Like we like to look at our top words, possibly even like twice a day. And the fact that there's AMZ Tracker, they all have delays, and who knows when they're searching, can just turn out to be a huge pain in the ass. So I personally check my top keywords, like literally almost by hand. I had to have a software before I actually did everything by hand, but even it's even difficult to do. I've got actually a software that's like a proprietary piece of software that we still use to check our current rankings, but it's typically off. There's nothing better than actually just searching yourself. There's no replacement for it. So awesome thing that you just showed us, and I'm sure people are super excited, but I'm even super excited for the rest of the presentation that you've got going on here. So continue. It's been awesome. I'm sitting here eating my cookies, enjoying the Cookie Monster GIF. I'm fired up about it.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, once people start getting their IP addresses blocked because they've looked at their own listing too many times, this is going to be absolutely critical so you can actually see where you're ranking. So yeah, it's pretty powerful. I wish I had some cookies right now. Okay, big question number 2, guys. Now that we know exactly what we're ranking, how can we improve that rank for certain keywords? And this comes back to gaming the algorithm. Okay, so super URLs. Do you know what a super URL is? So in the OMG way, if I can actually see my newsfeed, please tell me, hashtag yes or hashtag no. Do you know what a super URL is? And I'm going to try to look at my Facebook here so I can see what people are saying. Okay, no, no. Let's see. And Leslie, you can't do the Ninja search on desktop. It's just not possible. And what is that? I don't know what that is. Okay. You cannot do Ninja search on desktop. It has to be on your mobile phone. We got a whole bunch of no's. Elizabeth Engine actually knows what a super URL is. Awesome. Irene thinks so. So some of the veterans know what a super URL is, but most people don't, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's pretty interesting. So I'm going to show you guys something pretty cool today. But before I show you, I have to get at least 30 hashtag supers. I refuse to show you this whole process if I don't get at least 30 hashtag supers. Okay, they're flying in. Now you guys are active. Cool. All right, cool. We're going to go ahead and move forward. So, most people didn't know what a super URL was. I'm about to show you a traditional super URL and why it is actually really, really bad. Like, really bad. So, here is a traditional super URL right here. It's pretty long, a lot longer than the canonical for sure. So where did it come from? And this is where a lot of you might actually have gone wrong with your buying process. For example, if you were to extend your listing to friends and family to buy your product, to leave a review, if you did that, then you may have messed up here. You may have actually accidentally given your friends and family a super URL. And I'll show you what it is. It's very simple. If I come to Amazon here, and I search for vitamin C serum, and I pick this bestseller here, and I look at this URL it gives me. I'm going to copy it, Control-C, open up my notepad. All right, check this out. This is a super URL. It's pretty long. But this is actually a super URL because it tells Amazon what keyword was searched for in the URL and a whole bunch of other important data. And that's why Amazon's A9 algorithm is so powerful, because it tracks every single thing that any user does in Amazon. They put all this info in a database and can analyze this data with their A9 algorithm later on. So if you give this to a friend or family member, I'll show you pretty soon why that's actually a bad thing. So, WTF does it mean? Okay? And so to find out, we have to break it down, the entire URL. I'll try to make this fast. So, we're breaking down the traditional super URL. Okay, so I've broken it into several parts. I've left out the ampersands and the question marks because it's not really relevant. A UTF-8 is just the encoding language they use, essentially. So I've only highlighted the important parts. Part number 1, I want to see in the OMG way who's smart. Who can tell me what part number 1 is? Who knows? Come on, someone be brave. Give me a hashtag. what you think this part of the URL right here is. Boom! We got it from Chris, from Stefan. You guys are geniuses. Canonical. You guys are right. So Amazon actually gives you the canonical internally when you do a search. It's that very first part before the /ref, meaning reference. So great job. It is the canonical, correct. Now, it gets more difficult here. This is pretty straightforward still. Who knows what this last part is? This green part, keywords equals, whatever. That's what people thought they could gain. So again, this is just the keyword section. It tells Amazon, hey, what was searched for, and what should we bump this listing up for in ranking for being clicked on, for this link, or being bought through. And again, that's just the search term. And that's what people thought they could gain here. So in the past, when giveaways were done to increase sales velocity, a super URL just like this could be used. And what it did was it would tell Amazon a whole bunch of people searched for vitamin C serum and then bought this listing, which means it is very, very highly relevant for the term vitamin C serum. If you had 50 or 60 purchases with this URL back in the day, it was guaranteed to be ranked #1 for vitamin C serum because there was so much buyer intent with that internal search term. So that's why people thought they could game the algorithm. But Amazon got smarter, and I'll show you why. Here is the next part of the algorithm, or this URL. It is this ref equals SR. I'm going to call this an SR node. I'm not sure the exact term for it. But what this is it's the page number and the position of the keyword on the listing, or the search term results page, so the SERPs, essentially. So you have the page number and then the position. And there's this next part here, SR equals 8 minus 3. And this is some number, and then the page position again. I honestly don't know what that number is. I think it has something to do with categories. I did some research and couldn't find much on this. Now, this last part here, the QID. Now, I don't care if you're wrong. Just somebody please give me what they think, just anything, what this might be. Is this Santa Claus's phone number? Is this the president's phone number? Someone tell me what they think this might be. I need at least one answer in the OMG way. Someone step up, be brave. Maybe I'm missing it. No one's going to step up? Okay, I just not see it. User ID from, okay, UPC, query ID. Okay, I'm seeing it now. Thanks, guys. So lots of stuff here. And it's actually, and Chabdar says SR equals search rank. That's a good point. It could be search rank. Stands for the page and the position. But the ID is actually incredibly unique at all times. And what it actually is the seconds elapsed since January 1st, 1970, UTC, Universal Time. I'm going to prove this to you real quick. So, to prove this to you, I'm going to, again, come to this time duration between two dates here, just real quick. So I'm going to do the first month of the first day of 1970. I should have had this set up already. I apologize. 000 all the way through. And we're going to go through. Now we have to add on 5 hours to get to UTC time. So that puts us at 21. I'm going to add on a few seconds to account for the... Oh, hold on. So it's actually, it is the third... Let's see, it's the 14th, 2017. We add on a few more seconds to account for that. And I'm going to hit calculate duration. All right, now I'm going to do another search here for vitamin C serum. Pick a listing. Here we go. So here is the, again, the QID, what I assume means like query ID or something. 1489533. Okay, I must have done a few hours off. But again, 1489525. So we're just a few thousand seconds off. I must have gotten the time wrong. Let's see here. Another hour off, but very close. So it's just the time. Oh, because I'm in PST. That's why. I should have added 8 hours. I apologize. But this is just the number of seconds that has gone past since January 1st, 1970 UTC time. Now, why is this so relevant, and why is it marked red? Here's why. Amazon can check the QID against the search rank, the SR tag, and confirm that the two matched at the time of the initial query. Also, if you give this URL to somebody else and they search with it, you end up with somebody who is searching at a certain time, but the URL tells them they searched way, way earlier. Amazon immediately spots this as someone trying to game the algorithm, and it has no effect, if not a negative effect, on your listing. Because Amazon recognizes, hey, this person is trying to game the algorithm, even if you're really not. Because this is a very honest mistake. Someone could want someone to buy their listing and share it like this, and copy and paste it. And so it kind of stinks that this is the case, but it just is. Especially if someone leaves a review to this kind of link, Amazon will remove that like immediately. So this is why the traditional super URL is so ineffective, because they've implemented this new QID. And again, if it doesn't match, they know you've altered the URL. Oh snap. So a lot of people actually got burnt with this, and I had an OMG to point this out to me. They said, hey Josh, you've been talking about super URLs, but there's been a lot of talk in the blogging community about how it's actually a really bad idea now. And I found out this is what they were talking about, the traditional super URL. But I've got some good news for you. There is a new hope. It's called the New Age or New Hope Super URL, and it's very, very cool. So here's why it's better, guys. Number one, there is no QID. There's no timestamp. That is the biggest thing. There is no way for Amazon to tell what time this search was executed. Number two, there's no reference to the SR tags or any other node references. Some URLs will return really complex nodes that I actually don't understand, but I know this super URL does not have any of those. Also, it is a natural search URL and not an actual link to the listing, and I'll show you why this is so powerful in a minute. It uses Amazon internal fields to locate a specific brand and a specific marketplace. This helps the search feel very natural to Amazon, and that's why Amazon can't tell the difference at all. But most importantly, it works. And I have some proof or some data, and in my opinion, nothing beats hard, cold, raw data. It shows you when things work, unlike the traditional super URL, which is just myth at this point. So, New Age super URLs. My test was this, and I did the test fairly recently. When used in conjunction with sales velocity, so kind of like the old one, it was used in terms of a giveaway or a promotion. When increasing sales velocity with this URL, it drastically improves ranking for specific keywords. Just like the old super URLs, but no backlash. Oh, and very importantly, if you achieve any reviews through this URL, it will stick. As opposed to the old one, reviews will almost never stick. Amazon will take them away even if they're verified purchases. Okay, so here's the case study. A brand new product, 3 days old, 0 sales, and 0 reviews. It was this. Day 0. The New Age super URL, there were no sales through it. It was positioned 156 for a fairly big keyword. Day 1, I got 3 purchases through the new URL. 120. So ranking actually increased 36 spots. Day 3, I had 15 sales in total. It was now position 35. 7 days in, 23 purchases. It went from 156 to position number 3. And the search volume on this, according to Google at least, was 45,900 per month. Now, anybody in Google SEO can tell you how valuable that keyword would be if you rank number 3 in Google for anything with 45,900 search volume per month. And I ranked number 3 in Amazon, where it is a search engine of almost equal size to Google, but the only intent is buying. There's buyer intent rather than just research intent. So, again, very big keyword. Went from 156 to number 3. It jumped 153 spots in only 7 days using this URL. So, are you guys just dying to go over the structural specifics of a URL and its tags again, or would you rather have a done-for-you click button and unlimited super URL generator? So, I want to see in the Facebook group, OMG Way, hashtag URL structure or hashtag done for you. I want to see what you have to say. Who wants to go through a boring lesson or have it done for you? Let's see. Oh, got some done for yous. Not what I expected. All right, cool. Let's go on. So, the best way for me to show you this is just to show in action, guys. I'm going to show you in action how this works. And I made this just for you guys. So, give this a moment to open up, please. And let's look for a listing in the meantime. Let's give somebody some love. So I'm going to go to all departments, and let's do a Garcinia search. Garcinia, Cambodia, our favorite search term. I'm going to pick somebody who's not doing too hot, just to give him some love. So somebody down here, let's try this person. Yeah, let's try them. Okay, so this is the old traditional super URL that gave us a QID. So again, this could only be used at this time. We wouldn't want to use this ever again. But this has some information I need. So let me pull my, and this is what I'm talking about here. This is the done for you super URL generator. So it requires the brand name. Brand name on this guy is Purely Inspired. So that goes here. Purely Inspired. Keyword phrase, these guys want to rank for Garcinia, Cambodia, for weight loss. Either ASIN, right there, and we're going to pick the US marketplace. That's the default. That easy. And this is the new age super URL. Notice, there's no QID. Okay, no QID. And here's how this works. And it's very important you understand how this URL works. It is not traditional. So what we have is we paste this, and run a search for it, and look at this. So you have to understand first and foremost, it's actually going to execute a search in Amazon for that brand and marketplace, and specifically for this keyword. So more results will actually pop up. So when doing this, you must have smart buyers. They must know what to buy. And to put it here as number 1. And when someone now clicks on this, what's up here? A completely natural super URL. And guys, I've tested this. And again, remember how well it worked? It worked beautifully. Okay? And so if we try someone who's maybe a smaller brand, you'll see how powerful this can really be. So let's try another one. Let's go to hair straightening brush. Hair straightener brush. So let's come down to this MyroPure right here. Let's pull the ASIN, and the brand is MyroPure. I'll just put that here. MyroPure. Keyword phrase is going to be hair straightener brush, ASIN, and URL. There it is. Let's give it a run. Hopefully I spelled straightener correctly. We search for it, and see, there it is. It's the only result, and that's why this is so powerful, because it fine-tunes the SERPs to one result, one brand, one marketplace, and it gives whoever's buying the product or clicking on the product this URL or this one listing. They click on it, and it's equivalent to the power of a super URL without any backlash at all. 100% natural. Amazon can't track this, guys. It's almost like the canonical. Amazon expects traffic to come from these URLs. It's completely natural. It's just we've manipulated the internal search fields in Amazon to produce this specific listing for us. So it's very, very, very powerful. Now, do you want your own super URL generator? Yours forever, no subscription costs, instant creation. You saw it. You just plug in the info, and it makes it for you. Unlimited URL generations. Like there's no cap. You can make 100,000 in one day if you want to. And this is for real, guys. This is 100% real. Other services would literally charge you as much as $200 per URL. I'm not even joking. When doing giveaways in the past, there have been people that would charge you to tag on the super URL to increase your ranking. Now, it has the power to help you rank. So, and as you saw, it's proven to work in as little as 7 days. And safe and effective system. And I really should say no footprint. There is no footprint, just like the canonical URL. Now, I just want some idea of what you guys legitimately think. In the OMG way, please tell me roughly what you think this is worth in the long term. What do you think this could be worth? Give me an idea.
Josh, I got to say something. I think if we get some more hashtags, I think you guys are going to be blown away by what happens. So share the love with Josh. Give us a hashtag, Josh Do It, or what you think he could actually sell this for. And let us know. And like I said, I promise you, I think you will be blown away when he talks about James Messer.
Yeah. You got Joseph saying millions, Nathan saying 5K, James saying 50K. Wow.
Right, how generous a guy do you think Josh is, everyone? Like, send him some love. I want my Facebook almost to break if you guys are really digging what he put together here. I want, I don't want to be able to scroll, which is happening right now, and I want to see what you guys think of Josh. Let's see just how nice Josh is. So give him some love, and I'm going to let him take over here again.
Well, this is awesome. I was expecting, maybe 1K, but I'm getting 5K, 50K, millions, us kissing your ass forever. 10K from Thomas. Awesome, awesome. That's great. I appreciate that, guys. Infinity and beyond. Priceless. Wow. You're getting it for free. Okay? So
Josh,
here's the deal.
They broke my I'm going to take a screenshot and show you guys, but I'm going to have to log off of this the Facebook and re-log in, but you guys actually broke it.
They broke mine.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Awesome.
awesome. All right, so I'm actually starting a timer right now, guys. And in the next 30 minutes, everyone who comments #free in the OMG way from 7:26 EST, PM EST to that would be 7:56 PM EST is getting this from me 100% free. I'm going to send you your copy, give you a link to it, let you download it, and it's all yours. Now, if you're catching a replay of this, I'm sorry you weren't on. I don't think I can give this to you for free. Only the dedicated, awesome people that were on today get this. And I'm sorry, I know things happen, but I just can't extend this offer to everyone. But everyone on tonight in the next 30 minutes, because the hashtag free, gets this. So, hope you enjoy it. Liz, you want to take it back?
Awesome, Josh. I'm still recovering from my broken Facebook, which you guys literally broke my Facebook. It's like frozen. So, all right. Well, Josh just told you that you guys are getting this absolutely free. So I know most of you guys are going nuts here. Josh, how do they get it? Are we gonna have them?
Yes. So you just have to comment hashtag free in the OMG way, and I'm gonna actually PM them individually a link.
Okay, great. So fantastic. As I said before, Josh is a generous guy, right? That's what I told you guys. Comment, do whatever you got to do. He's going to PM you that link for free, and we will get into that. So how many of you guys are like, we've already been going an hour and a half. I still have about 20. What are you guys thinking about having a part 3, or did you want to continue? So let's see. Let's get some hashtags going here. Continue, keep going, says everybody's still going nuts with the phrase. So let me wait for some more comments to come in. Other people cheering on. Some people saying part 3 because they want a part 3. A lot of people saying part 3. So we might just do a part 3 because I think that was a pretty good bomb drop. And I think you guys have had enough information where your mind is sort of like fried. So I think what we're going to do is go with the part 3. And next week we got a sourcing guy coming on, and you guys got to be prepared for that. But the week after we will continue to have a part 3 because, as I said before, what I'm going to cover on part 3, at that point you should at least start getting. Laden says his computer's freezing, so Josh almost broke Facebook here. So as a result, we're going to call it quits because Josh broke it. But quick answering a couple more questions here before we continue. What is a super URL used for? Josh kind of covered that, but just in general, it's used to help you get better rankings in the search engine. The difference between the canonical and the new super URL, Josh kind of covered that. I still like to use a mix, but the new super URL, people charge for that. It's ridiculous. It's the best super URL that there is on the market. It's fantastic. We've tested it, and it's just amazing. Let's see what we've got. What other questions that were actually, the phone is a hotspot with his laptop will potentially, you still have to be in search of Plummen. You still have to sort of make sure that you're not connected at all, like sort of like to Amazon in general. So you still might be, you have to check it out. So again, Josh will get that out to most of you guys. Let's see what else we have here. How did you drive so many sales in 3 days? He started off with the giveaways, Jesse, and then it just took off from there. Was it a long tail keyword? Did you go after a long tail keyword on that one, Josh?
Oh, remember, it had 45 or 49,500 search volume per month. It was a big keyword.
Okay, cool. Eric, so did you use the super URL with ClickFunnels? No, Eric, we just used it with giveaways pretty much, right, Josh?
Yeah, 100%. And also, the app was...
We might have actually lost Josh.
If you have a Linux... What's that?
Oh, there you are. You're back.
Okay, yeah, sorry. The app does work for Mac and Windows, but if you're like Linux or something else, I'm not sure it will work.
Okay. So Thomas asked, did you do press releases with the case study or just super URL? Which case? Okay, that one that Josh was talking about, I'm pretty sure was just super URL, Thomas. Josh, you can clarify if it was another thing.
100% just super URL.
Okay. James says, do you use Love and Launch for giveaways? We usually now do them internally, James. We don't have anything against Love and Launch. We just need things done like on our time frame, which is like right away. So we kind of don't really wait for anyone. We try to do everything internally. What is a press release? A press release is, we'll show that in a future webinar. If you're not using them already, don't worry about it. We'll get into it and you'll know exactly what it is. Can you use the super URL in a press release? So that's a good one. What about that one, Josh?
Yes, you can. It's a very safe URL with no footprint. However, the issue with that is when you put it out in a press release, you now have a hard-coded, receipt of that essentially. And if an Amazon employee ever saw that, they could notice, hey, someone is, manipulating our internal fields and affecting the algorithm. So I wouldn't suggest doing it.
Okay, awesome. James says, is there any way to get on that? PM Rob Bowser, James. Looking forward to press release webinar. Thank you, Elizabeth. We appreciate it. Where are you sharing the super URL? Thomas, if you posted free somewhere in the actual thread, Josh will PM you with the link of how to get that super URL generator. As I said before, it's possibly one of the only super URL generators that still works. It works like a charm. Let's see. So we need to create the super URL incognito. I don't believe you need to do it incognito, Chris. Josh, can you clarify that?
You can make it anywhere you want on your desktop. Just the Ninja search needs to be executed in mobile is all.
Awesome. Thomas says, are you running ads in addition? I don't believe he was, Thomas. I think it was just the start of a product. Josh, you can clarify if I'm wrong?
Yeah, so the actual beginning of that whole test was 100% clean. Just a small giveaway of 20 to 25 with the super URL, and the rank for that particular keyword just shot up.
Awesome. Thank you, Eric. Eric says you guys are the shit. Blair Run says, so where and how to use the super URL when you give away products to help you rank much quicker. Liz says, so the super URL is more useful for ranking than the canonical. It is, Liz. I usually like to use it in moderation, but Josh, any idea, can we use it? How often can we actually use the super URL? Is there any sort of metric that we need to think about?
Well, as far as I can tell, the super URL is going to help you again with sales velocity. It's going to help you rank internally in Amazon, but it will never, ever, ever, ever help you rank outside of Amazon. The canonical is the only thing that will ever help you rank in other search engines. And that is the canonical is the cleanest URL. There is absolutely zero footprint because Amazon expects traffic to come from or through that link. So I would suggest, and if you saw my results, 23 sales through that URL did, make rankings unbelievable for a brand new product. So I'd say, use it if you're doing a giveaway, of course, because you're going to improve your rank for a particular product. But I wouldn't throw it out there in press releases on your website because then you just run the risk of Amazon seeing that a footprint, essentially, of that link. But if you're doing it through email, through Messenger, there's no receipt or, carbon copy of that link.
Awesome. Thomas says, guess I'm confused. Where do you put the super URL? Thomas, if you're giving away, like, let's say you're doing a giveaway with some of your friends, you give them the super URL to actually buy your product from. So that's how you use it. Do you use the... Go ahead, Josh.
It's just important to realize the super URL is more of again, gaming the algorithm. It's manipulating search in a way. Now, the canonical is more of the one you would pass link juice to, quote unquote. So you would improve other search engine ranking with the canonical because you're passing juice to it. You would never pass juice to a super URL. You would just pass searches and queries through it.
Awesome. Jess says, do you use the official Amazon giveaway or how do you do the giveaways? PM Rob, Jess, I'm pretty sure we've reached out to you before. Chris, does it have less impact the more keywords you add in the super URL making process? I think it's one keyword per super URL. Is that right, Josh?
Yes, just one keyword per URL.
What about the software that changes the IP? I'm not sure what that question means. Josh, do you have any idea?
I don't actually. Maybe he's talking about the Ninja search. It's just when you go incognito on a mobile phone, not connected to an LAN or a Wi-Fi router, you just don't have an IP address, essentially.
Right, awesome. Okay, so it looks like we've got all the questions answered, and as I said before, they were coming in so fast and furious. Elizabeth asked a couple last ones. Are you using this for your new product, Josh?
Yes, I am.
Awesome, awesome. So I think we got everything, and again, next time we will cover part 3, and I'll just give you guys a sneak peek here to part 3. Let me see if I can find something. We'll go back to the good old hair straightener brush. Next week, again, I didn't even get to my big bomb drop because Josh had so much great stuff to actually talk about. We're going to talk about, and again, I'm getting that personalized search, so I can't even find an example here in this niche, but I might just pop out a video to tell you guys, but let's see if we can find something. How about this? I'm very familiar with this niche. I don't even know if I spelled that right, and I don't think I did. So I'm getting some, let's see, search the right thing here. See if I see anything that I can share with you guys. I do not yet. But, well, let's just look at this market. Take this particular product, for instance. We're in a category where it's probiotics. Some of the biggest products you could imagine are in here. This guy's got 1,600 reviews. Amazon's Choice, 270, which is still not a lot. 319 is quite a bit. 5,900 and 35 in health. Why is this product not ranked number 1? And why is this product ranked number 1? And furthermore, why in the heck is this product with only 91 reviews ranked just under the top seller, like an 8,300? Why are these things happening? We're going to talk about that. This one, 11,000 on page 1 with 47. I'm going to show you exactly why that's happening, and I'm going to show you proof of how this is happening, and I'm going to cover a lot more, as much as I can without having it recorded, because again, this is the kind of stuff that is shouldn't be really talked about, to be quite honest, in a public webinar like this. So we're going to talk a little bit about it, and then try to discuss as much of it as we can before we get too many people pissed off at us. So with that being said, that's what you guys have to look for. Next week on Tuesday, though, I think it'll be Tuesday around, might be 5 or 6 p.m. It just depends. I might have another webinar that day. So 5 or 6 p.m. Tuesday, we're going to be on with my Chinese sourcing agent and how he's currently opening up his business to you guys, and he has a lot more slots. He's taking clients. Amazing, amazing guy. His name is Jing. So we will hear from Jing and Mandy next week on the webinar. And then after that, we will conclude deconstructing Amazon with part 3. Unless there's updates to the algorithm, we'll keep going. But until then, I will see you guys next week. Again, Josh will personally PM you and get you guys links to that actual software. So I will see you guys next week. Josh, any last words?
Thank you guys for showing up. That's why I'm giving you the free software. So thanks.
Awesome, fantastic. Thank you guys, and we will see you on the next webinar. Have a great night.